What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and this is your match debrief to Everton 1, Southampton 1, losing 6-5 on penalties. I don't know where to start. I'm just having a little look at some of the stats, and I've obviously looked at some of the positioning. Actually, from the last 3 home games, I did it last night when I got in. I was sitting there in bed, and I thought, why are we so disjointed and such a mess? And every single team that Sean Dyche picks has almost a different core way of playing. However, it's still the same. So, for example, in games at home, we'll sit deep and we'll allow the opposition to have all of the ball, and then we'll counter press and counter. But we don't do it every time. We only do it on the odd occasion, and we cause problems when we do it. Or the situations where we play a little bit flatter, which means we do try and pass the ball around a little bit better. I think Bournemouth was a good example of that. But my point I'm making is, in every single game we've played at home, certainly this season, we've almost played a completely different style. So this philosophy, this plan, you know when a manager walks into a club and goes, right, we're going to play like this. We're going to be identified as a team that plays in this style, this way, this movement, this blah, 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 blah. I'm really struggling with what he's doing. And I'm going to bring up a little image now. You'll see this image. I'm not going to talk about it, but you'll see we are the orange one. We are completely different in all 3. You can see it. You can literally see it now. The end one. Last night, we looked like we're playing like a V in the centre of the park, and the right winger for Southampton, I think it would have been, has got all the space down that left-hand side. You've got our right winger coming inverted, which leaves Dixon 2v1. I'm finding it staggering how he's allowing wingers to get down our side so easy. And then on top of that, he's not counteracting that by playing 3 at the back. He's playing 2 at the back, which always means that one of the fullbacks is being dragged out and then pulled back in. It doesn't work. The whole system doesn't work. Now, I can look at that at 1:45 in the morning and tell you that. So what is his team of analysts, Sean Dyche doing, Kevin Furwell, the director of football? What are they doing, John? And this is the bit I'm struggling with, mate. That's the bit I'm struggling with. I got home last night. It took me 4.5 hours to get up there, as you know. And I sat there and I literally thought, what's the point? What is the point? Because this manager has got what I believe to be a decent group of players, a group of players that we haven't had in a few years of that sort of level. Why he can't cope, change and adapt, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. And that's the bit that concerns me. I don't get it. I get that every team you have to set up different for. Brighton is different to Southampton. I get it. But the key philosophy at home should still be there. And he changes his team. He doesn't know his best 11. You know, there's been loads of things on Twitter where people have spoke about how, this isn't quite his group of players yet. 14 of them have been signed under him, or 11 have been signed under him, and 3 worked with him at Burnley. He knows exactly what he's got. We come out in an interview last year with Kevin Furwell and come out and said, I get sign off on the players, blah, 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 blah. So why didn't Danjuma play more minutes last year? Why have we not seen players like Jake O'Brien, who should have been, in my opinion? If you're struggling at the back, you stick 3 at the back, make it big, strong and difficult to score a goal, and at least we might get a few draws. But at the minute, we are wayward. This manager is clueless. I'm done with him, and I want him out. I'm done. I'm finished. So, sorry for going on for 4 minutes there, guys. John can finally talk.
The problem we've got here, Michael, and as you quite right point out, the shape he's playing in a lot of the games, he'll then change it. And the same thing happened against Aston Villa the other day. Luca Dean had the space of the Midlands on the left-hand side, all right. And it happened again last night, And again, their goal last night was sort of a carbon copy from Villa. and Bournemouth. The ball got played in too easy at the back stick, a clear header. So I see why the fullbacks are getting pulled out of position, as you quite rightly say, and we're only playing 2 centre-halves at the back. So if none of them win it, it's a free header. So while he keeps changing it like this, I don't think the players know what he's doing. I don't think the players know what to do. I'm watching them last night, whether it be against Southampton or Villa or Bournemouth or Brighton or whoever. We can't string passes together, Michael. We don't play as a team. It's as if each player doesn't know what to do. What are they doing on the training pitch? And again, I will go back, and I said on here a couple of videos ago, I think Everton are on a par with Southampton as the 2 worst teams in the Premier League. Now, I know we didn't play many of our first choice 11 last night. There was a couple in there. But what I will say, I think we're the worst team in the Premier League now. When you watch Southampton last night, they had some gifted players there. They played us off the park. And I know you're going to put some stats up through the video about possession and stuff like that. I think you told me today it worked out we had something like 23.3% possession against Southampton at home. That in itself deserves the manager to be sacked. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal that we can serve up stats like that. No disrespect to Southampton against them. And then, you come out before and you said something like, the way we're setting up, it's becoming a picture now, and teams are going to look at that when they're going to come up against Everton, and more times out than not, we're playing the same way. And you showed me a diagram today where we sort of set up as a V from the middle into the midfield. But again, the opposition wingers are getting so much space against us, Michael. It's frightening, and there's still the odd one or two who are still backing him on Twitter. And today we've seen a comment that's come out where Everton is still backing the manager. Listen, they said that about Rafa Benitez. They said that about Marco Silva and Frank Lampard. They still had the backing of the club. They were gone within a couple of weeks. So for me, that means nothing. But there shouldn't be comments coming from the likes of Sky Sports like that, because the manager shouldn't be here. And I know people keep throwing in the comments aimed at me, aimed at Michael, on X, they're having a pop at me saying, well, we would have finished 12th last season. Get over that. You need to start getting over that. Only for the points deduction, we would have finished 12th. As I've said on here, the teams round us have strengthened, and the teams that who have come up are probably better than the teams who have just gone down. So forget your fucking points deduction and where Sean Dyche would have where we would have finished last year with Sean Dyche. That's gone. This is criminal. We've played 6 games this season. We were 0-0. I think it was with Doncaster in the first round of the cup that we played in the Carabao. We got knocked out by Southampton last night. And in the league, we conceded 13 goals in 4 games. Any other club do not allow that to happen with their football manager. And until this takeover's sorted, Sean Dyche, do you know, I've seen a few people, and I said it to you last night, and I said it to Barry, I think he's waiting to be sacked. I think he wants to be sacked, but he doesn't want to walk away from the pay, from the payoff. That's 2 games at home now where substitutions he's made, he's being booed. Now, if that trend carries on, you don't get them fans back. I don't think you get the fans back anyway, but you take Beto off. Don't get me wrong. He's an awful footballer. But you take Beto off and bring an Ashley Young on, which was karma for Sean Dyche, in my opinion, because he's the one who missed the penalty. So when you're making substitutions and changes like that, this manager doesn't deserve to get anything out of these games, because it's on his head, but it's us who's suffering yet again out of another cup after playing 2 games in it, bottom of the league. He's won 4 games out of his whole managerial career in August out of 48. That is not a good manager. So stop throwing the 12th position last year without the points deduction. He's a shit manager. So this blue-tinted glasses brigade who is still backing him, open your eyes and smell the coffee, because he's shit. And there's only one way we're going if he stays at this football club.
Yeah. But Leicester won the league in what, 2016, was it?
I think so.
Where did they finish the season before?
You're the stat man.
They were 17th. They stayed up on the last day of the season. They were bottom of the
not being funny, Michael.
No. The difference is what I'm trying to say. The difference is last season is irrelevant. It's absolutely irrelevant. It's gone. It's finished. So when people talk about his stats and his games and his records, we can go back 26 games. We can talk about, well, it's actually 27 now. We can go back 27 games and say he's got 5 wins. We can do all of that, all of the stats we want in the world. But the facts are, we are the worst team in Europe, statistically, over 5 leagues. We are the worst team in Europe. We are looking like we concede goals and we don't score many. We look like a team that is capable, yet can't put the ball in the net. We're looking like a team that is singular visioned, and by I mean singular vision, I mean there was an occasion against Aston Villa where Calvert-Lewin could have played in Ndiaye for probably the easiest goal of his career. There was an occasion last night where Lindstrom could have passed the ball through to Ndiaye, and he would have had the easiest finish of his career in that game last night. But they're not doing it. They're taking these shots on, which is fine. But they clearly haven't got the minerals, the capability, and just the sheer quality.
They've got the confidence.
They've got the confidence to shoot, John. Because if I didn't have the confidence, I'd pass.
Yeah.
So they've got the confidence to shoot. It's just the fact that they haven't got the ability to score, and that is the worst thing. That's actually worse. I'd rather have a player that is capable of scoring, but you need to build him up, than have a player that is buzzing but can't do his job. I mean, it's alarming. It's so alarming. And last night for me was Millsy, Across the Park podcast. Obviously, he's a friend of ours. I saw one of his podcasts that he did, and he said, all of a sudden, following the Bournemouth game, the Southampton game is massive. He almost said that the Villa game was almost one of them. You know, it can happen. They're a good side. Blah blah blah. They're better than us. But we had to beat Southampton last night, in my opinion. We had to beat them. Then we had to beat them 2-3-0, and we had to start going in the right direction. And we didn't. We bowled it. It was an appalling performance. And if I'm being totally honest, he shouldn't be in charge today. He should have gone. He should have gone last night. They keep backing him. They keep coming out with these statements. They're pointless. It'll be 2 or 3 games. Next international break, I can almost, if nothing changes, he'll be gone.
I don't think he will. And, you know, he's got to look. I don't know, I sent it to you last night, Michael, while you were on your way home. Sean Dyche had come out and said he thought the players played well from the off and they'd been practicing penalties in the morning. Now, I'm not being funny, right? For one, yeah, there's a chance it could have went to penalties. But how bad is that when he's already thinking that Southampton might take us to penalties? So you're going into the game with the wrong mindset straight away. But then how can we also turn around and say that they were the better team from the off? As you said before, where's his analysts to point out the statistics from last night that I think we had the same, both of us had 4 shots on target. It was the same amount of shots on target. They outplayed us when it come to possession-wise. So how can he say we played well from the off? What's he doing? But do you know the problem is, Michael? When he's coming out with things like that, right? I'm not saying I want him to come out and throw players under the bus in public. But when he's coming out with comments like that, if the players are thinking, oh, we were shit there tonight, when the manager's coming out with comments like that, that gives the players false sense then. And they're thinking, well, hang on, where are we that bad if our gaffer's saying that? So straight away, it's sort of accepting that defeat last night from the manager when he can turn around and say we played well from the off. What is signals is that sending to our players, Michael, that he thinks we played well? It was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. The ground was quiet. And again, we go on about the players lifting us, and people say, well, you need to get behind the team. I have no energy anymore for this Everton team to get behind them because they don't give a shit about us. The manager doesn't care, doesn't want to be there, in my opinion, but he wants the payoff. And I think for him to come out with a comment and saying that we played well last night and there were practical penalties, is he actually taking the piss out of us?
Well,
is he actually taking the piss?
The other thing I was going to mention as well, and I have thought it for a couple of weeks now, and I get the job that the person is doing, but you know Tom, you've met Tom. Tom sent me a message saying the interviewer is literally just giving him the answers. So even the interviewer is being perceived to support Dyche in his questioning. Now, I get it, it's Everton media, whatever, it's an Everton employee, blah, blah, blah. I get it. He's not just going to go, that was awful, Sean, that was whatever. But the questions aren't cutting enough when it's coming to us. We would ask a question like, Sean, what are you going to change to fix this? Sean, how is it all of a sudden we've gone from a full-strength team, or not full-strength, but a decent team, to everyone all of a sudden being sick and poorly? I'm not saying they're not, by the way, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying the communication could have been a little bit better. And I don't understand how he's walked off that pitch going, that is a good performance. So where's the question of what makes that a good performance, Sean? Where's them questions? Where's just the basics?
It's obviously because it's Everton workers asking the questions of people who work for the media side of things at Everton. They get told what they can and can't ask, I think. Now, straight away, to go with your comments, you've got to be asking things like, because if this fella who's interviewing Sean Dyche is an Everton fan like me and you, I couldn't give a shit. I would be asking the questions that the fans want the answers to. I don't care whether I'm getting told what and what not to ask. Straight away, I'd be in there going, Sean, your last 2 games, your home games, your substitutions are being booed by the fans. What do you think of that? What was in your thinking to take a centre forward off and bring a 39-year-old fullback on? Where was you thinking in that? Go balls deep in with this manager.
Well, we've also got the under 23s striker Sharif on the bench. And on top of that, he then plays the same style of football by booting it long to Liliman Ndiaye and Dwight McNeil to win headers and control 2 centre-halves. I mean, it is clueless, mate. It's absolutely clueless.
It's amateur. It's amateurish from a manager who's managed in the Premier League for so long, whether it be with Burnley, whether it be with Everton. It's an apparent professional manager. Now, what are his backroom staff doing as well? Steve Stone and the other fella who's there with him, I can't even think of his name now. Ian Wone. What are these doing? What are they doing? Are they tactically inept as well? Because I'm not being funny. You have backroom staff to help you with the training. You have backroom staff to give you different ideas. You have backroom staff to say, well, that mightn't work. But we only ever see one of the backroom staff get off the bench with him. Never the 2 of them. Never the 2 of them.
The other thing I'd say, though, as well, which is I mean, it goes down as basic as, wasn't Sean Dyche a defender? Wasn't Steve Stone a defender?
I think he was.
It's just basics. So, I mean, we'll do our match preview tomorrow, obviously. We've got Leicester, blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you now, this week, I'll be straight with you. I'll play 3-5-2. And if Bradthwaite's back, great. If he's not, then it's Keane, O'Brien and Tarkowski. And if we can see the goal at the back post with the 3 of them in the 6-yard box, liquidate the club. Just finish it. Just admin and works. Just forget it. Turn the new stadium into a new concert arena or something. I ain't bothered. Turn it into an ice skating rink for all I care. It's a joke.
Just before we wrap up, what did you think of the team last night when it come out, when I sent you it? Did you think he'd made too many changes, or was you happy with the team?
I wanted to understand where all the first team players was, because I looked at the bench and there was very little on the bench.
Didn't we?
Yeah, but we did have 2 keepers on the bench, and that was another thing that I wanted to mention. You've reminded me. I had no issue with the team itself, and I didn't. I do think there was probably too many changes, but we've got a small squad. We need to rotate, and no disrespect, this was Southampton, so an Everton team of any Premier League capacity should have put in a decent performance against them, and I didn't get it. I didn't get the reason for the changes, and then he said everyone was sick, and I was like, okay, I kind of semi-understand, but it was disappointing. Do you know the one sub that surprised me that he didn't make? Is I think the ball went out for throwing on the 93rd minute, and we didn't bring on Pickford.
Yeah, I've seen someone else put that. Or I agree with that, but also to add to that. So if he says he's been practicing penalties yesterday morning, thinking it's going to go to penalties, why not have a Dominic Calvert-Lewin just on the bench as well, just to bring him on in case it goes to penalties, as you say, to bring Pickford on for the penalties as well?
But this is the thing. If the players are sick, and I mean, like, physically bedridden. I mean, this is where the thing of footballers have changed over the years, hasn't it? But I know that if I was sick, right, or I'm poorly, or I've got a cold, I still go to football. I still go and play. Like, I might feel rubbish, but I still go and play. I don't understand why a player these days, if it is literally like a common cold, or they've been rough in the morning, I don't understand why they can't just maybe come on for a penalty. I mean, I don't know, John. I don't know how poorly they all are, so I'm not going to start digging out and throwing people under the bus. I have no idea. But if Calvert-Lewin is poorly, really poorly, then yeah, fair enough. If he's literally like got a cold, or maybe he's had the shits in the morning, but he's had an Imodium and he's feeling all right now. Well, why couldn't you take a penalty?
I actually don't think. I know Mikalenko went off against Aston Villa because he felt like vomity, throwy up sick. So whether that's the bug that's going round, I don't know. But I don't know what to believe from the manager or the club anymore, Michael. So I'd probably put money on it that half the players that apparently are out with an illness. I just believe him. I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth anymore, Michael. I didn't listen to his press conference last night, and I only seen that clip that Sky Sports had come on, that the club's still backing him. I can't listen to him. He grates on me. And I'm telling you now, I know we keep saying there's no one to sack him, So 2 things. Someone needs to lend Mashiri, whether it be Texter or Freakin, put some more debt on the club just to pay him off. Or we're gone. And as you quite rightly pointed out before, people can keep bringing up last year that we should have finished 12th. But the proof is in the pudding that we've won 5 games in 27. We haven't won an away game this calendar year. We haven't kept a clean sheet. We've conceded 13 goals in 4 league games. So you can't keep going back to stats and points deductions from last year when we've won 5 games since Christmas, since December. They're the stats people need to be looking at, not where we should have finished without points deductions.
Yeah. I completely agree. We are where we are, which is out of the Carabao Cup, and your Tuesdays and Wednesday nights are free until we may get an FA Cup replay or something. I mean, the whole thing's a joke, but yeah, I will just keep smiling because that's all we can do. Remember, friends and family are the most important thing in your life, not Everton Football Club, everyone. So we appreciate the love and support. The comments have been amazing. The new subscribers, the views have been astonishing. The channel is flying and it's all down to you lot. But Yeah, it's rough at the minute, any John. Rough.
It's just on to. I know we're going to do a match preview on Leicester, but another game Frankie's dragging me to. I dread to think what happens if we don't get anything at Leicester, because then we've got Palace at home, who have got some good players who could hurt us, the likes of Mateta. I know I'm getting too far ahead of myself, but I'm just trying to look at where it can get any better. And at the minute, Leicester away is going to be tough. Palace at home is going to be tough. Then we've got Newcastle, who are unbeaten this season, I think. I tell you what, mate, if we don't get nothing out these next 3 games, I'm going to start a GoFundMe page to get him out the club.
Yes. Cool. Right, we will leave it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Thank you ever so much for watching, and we will see you soon. Peace.